Today we're going to be going over unit circle trigonometry. Now these are worth 5 points on the average SAT, so a smaller concept, but definitely one worth knowing anyway. Our approach on these is we're going to identify unit circle trig questions, we're going to break down the question, we're going to build a formula to solve them, and then lastly, we're going to solve a practice question together. So how do you identify these? Well, these questions will test your understanding of the unit circle and radians. Now, an important formula to know on this is that if you need to convert between degrees to radians, you start with your degree measure, you multiply by pi over 180, and this is going to give you your resulting radians. So for example, you could have 360 degrees multiplied by pi over 180 degrees equals, we have 1 here, 2 here, 2 pi radians. Now, you can memorize the unit circle, but you can also use Desmos on this one, so I would try to memorize if you can, but if you get in a pinch, you can use Desmos. Now, here's the unit circle trig formula. First, we're going to identify our degrees or radians. We're going to convert if we need to. And lastly, we're going to determine our answer choice. So here's an example. It tells us in the xy plane above, points P, Q, R, and T lie in the circle with center O. The degree measures of angles POQ and ROT are 60 degrees. What is the radian measure of angle QOR? Okay, so we know that POQ is going to be 60 degrees. We also know that ROT is going to be 60 degrees. And what I also know, that since these are supplementary angles, we have a straight line, we know that the sum of the three angles here has to equal 180 degrees. And so the measure of QOR is also going to have to be 60 degrees. Okay, perfect. So now we know that the angle measure of QOR is 60 degrees, but what is the radian measure going to be? Well, let's take our 60 degrees multiplied by pi over 180, and this is going to leave us with pi over 3. So this is going to be equal to answer choice C, 1/3 pi. So C is correct here. Now let's look at Desmos to see if we can find a shortcut. Okay, so here we are in Desmos. Now an important thing to know is Desmos actually defaults to radians. And so I have a little workaround way that we can show if this conversion was right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to press functions down here, and I'm just going to arbitrarily pick sine. And let's do sine of pi divided by 3, because that's what we thought we had. And that's giving us 0.866. Now I can press this little wrench icon in the top right corner, and I can switch to degrees, and I can type in 60 here, because we said that pi over 3 is equal to 60 in degrees, and I can see here our 0.866 is the exact same, and so going between radians and degrees, we did the conversion right. And so this is a little workaround way where you can pick cosine, sine, tangent, doesn't really matter, but as long as what it equals is the same when you put in your degrees and radians and switch the mode with this little wrench, then you know you did it right. So there's one little Desmos shortcut, but otherwise just memorize this little conversion fact and you'll do well on these. So good luck.